I believe a countdown like this requires something special. Okay, now we're ready to go.
He's mean, he's green, and he knows how to make a scene. Bowser, King of the Koopas and one of the most famous and persistent video game villains of all time, has definitely made an impact on gaming. Whether he's your worst enemy, your toughest ally, the badass anti-hero of the day, or just your comedy relief, Bowser never fails to make his presence known. But then again, what else would you expect from the nemesis of Mario of all characters? Of course, like most villains, and most characters in general, Bowser has been prone to having his ups and downs. In particular, his boss fights tend to be either completely awesome or completely pathetic. So today, I'm taking a look at both sides of the Koopa King's record in my first double top 5. I'm counting down the 5 Bowser battles I think are the best, as well as the 5 I believe to be the worst. One thing to keep in mind, Yoshi's New Island wasn't out when I started writing this, so you won't be hearing me talk about it. Also, keep in mind, this is based on my own personal experience, and your own experiences may be different. So relax and enjoy the show. With that, we just need one more thing. Hey big guy, you ready? Alright then, it's game time! Partners in Time is widely regarded as the weakest in the Mario & Luigi series of RPGs. It's not bad, mind you, far from it, but it did make some poor design choices. Among these are relying on items to release your special attacks, and perhaps even more jarring was how they dropped the ball in the finale. After such a dark and downer story about an alien invasion of all things, the epic battle with Elder Princess Shroob should have been the end of it. But instead, after the Shroob's curse is dispelled with baby tears of all things, the remains of the alien ruler flies into the unconscious Bowser's mouth, which should have resulted in a grotesque Bowser-Shroob hybrid. I dread to think of what that would look like, but instead we got this. The big thing that bugs me about this fight can be summed up in 3 words. You can't attack. No, seriously, he won't let you. Yeah, this was a smart move on Bowser's part, but it was handled badly. The entire fight is dodging and countering Bowser's constant fireballs, which are telegraphed by the Shroob Princess's ghost. This is a fight that centers on reaction instead of action, which really pisses me off. I want to smash things! Also, every few rounds you have to put up with Bowser's taunting. Oh, and the music is comparatively unimpressive. So yeah, when you considered the epic alien showdown that happened before this fight, seeing your finale reduced to dodge this, counter that, is really underwhelming. Not to mention that you're probably worn out by now. And considering you had a good fight with Bowser's past and present earlier, that makes this fight look even worse. Good thing Bowser's inside story made up for it by having you fight Bowser as Bowser. Okay, let's move on before my brain starts to hurt. Pretty much everyone who's followed the rivalry between Mario and Bowser remembers the climactic battle at the end of Super Mario World. Aside from coming at the end of a long final level, most of which can be skipped if you use the back door, this fight was memorable for quite a few reasons. For starters, it marked the debut of Bowser's Koopa clown car, which has reprised its role in several games that followed. Second, it's the first multi-phase final battle in the Mario franchise. 3 phases to be exact, with each one changing up Bowser's pattern. First phase consists of just him flying around. Second phase, he starts dropping cannonballs to flatten you, which can be dodged with a simple spin jump. In the third and final phase, both Bowser and his car get super pissed and start trying to pounce on you. Through it all, however, Bowser commits villainous blunder number 16, attacking with ammo that can be turned against you, namely, the Mecha Koopas he throws. Once you stomp on them, they make the perfect projectiles for throwing right back at him. Also, this battle proves that Princess Peach is helpful when she tosses you a power-up between phases. Perhaps one of the most memorable things about this fight, however, is how it starts. The suspenseful buildup of the music as the clown car descends, and then, boom! You're greeted with 16-bit awesomeness. Just like this entire fight. A fitting end to one of my most nostalgic games of all time. Nobody talks about Yoshi Topsy-Turvy, and it's probably for the best. It's an overall mediocre platformer whose hook is manipulating gravity via the cartridge's tilt sensor. Sounds cool, but there are only 3 settings, and other games such as Kirby Tilt and Tumble and WarioWare Twisted use the gimmick better. But hey, there's at least potential for an awesome fight with Bowser, right?
No.
At first, this fight does look promising. Enemies and bombs drop from the top of the screen while Bowser lumbers toward you and breathes fire that can take more than a third of your health. Sound like fun? Trust me, it isn't. Almost every aspect of this final battle can be affected by how you tilt the system, from making the enemies roll away from you, to the direction of Bowser's flame breath, to guiding the bombs that you use to do damage to Bowser. That's pretty much all you do in this fight. Even changing up the enemies that appear in the second phase, as well as how the bombs appear on screen, does pretty much nothing to make this fight any better. You hardly even need to use the control pad, and the only button you'll need is the jump button so you can avoid Bowser's flames. But the nail in the coffin is the last phase, where you tilt the system back and forth like a spaz to make Bowser lose his balance and ultimately dump him into the lava pit. Aside from having bland music and visuals, this fight is just gimmicky and boring. Instead of having Yoshi do the heavy lifting and actively fighting back against Bowser, this fight plays the tilt sensor like a fiddle. An unimpressive end to an unimpressive game. Seriously, stick with the other Yoshi games. You'll be better off for it. Let's be honest, in terms of comparative sizes, Mario typically isn't built to take on a titan like Bowser head-on, at least not without a power-up of some kind. As such, several battles with Bowser test your skills with platforming rather than combat. And for me, the 2 best instances of these battles came in 3D Land and 3D World. Let's start with the former. After a roller coaster ride of doom, Bowser makes an entrance that literally brings down the house. But that's about as humorous as this gets. From that point, Bowser is throwing his entire arsenal in your general direction, be it with fireballs, spike balls. Hell, there's even a section where Bowser takes a page out of Donkey Kong's book prior to what you think is the final switch. Not! From there, Bowser's fireballs take a level in power, capable of destroying not only you, but the platforms as well. And it all leads up to a final chase that looks like it came out of Indiana Jones. 3D World is similar, except... wait, is it just me, or did Bowser just take a level in intelligence? Yup, and now that Bowser's decided to use a power-up of his own, this chase has taken a level in crazy. As you make your way up the tower, you have to anticipate where the new Cat Bowser will appear and adjust your route accordingly. Later, Bowser takes it even further when multiple Bowsers appear and start chasing you. The result is utter chaos. It all culminates in a final chase of insanity where Bowser proceeds to commit villainous blunder number 512, failing to take your own surroundings into account. I mean, he's standing on a giant POW block. Didn't he think that someone would punch it? All things considered, these sequences put your platforming skills to the test, provide thrills by the second, and are just plain fun to play through. Not to mention, the music is awesome. But seriously, Bowser needs to fire his interior decorator. Pronto! You know, I really enjoyed Super Mario Sunshine. The story was a refreshing slight change of pace, I liked using FLUDD, and it was nice to see Yoshi in a 3D platformer. However, there were some frustrating moments, such as the lily pad ride, the pachinko machine of doom, and, oh yeah, Corona fucking Mountain! From the start, we get platforms covered in fire and spikes, followed by the utter frustration of controlling that stupid boat. In all honesty, I was hoping for an epic showdown with Bowser to make up for all of that. But what do we get instead?
We get the villainous hot tub.
This fight looks like an excerpt from a villain's travel guide, and its difficulty is pretty much a day at the beach. In order to avoid Bowser's flame breath and Bowser Jr.'s bullet bills... Also, the weak points on this bad-up hot tub couldn't be more obvious if they were glowing as green as the slime in the... Wait, what just happened? Play that again. Okay, you have got to be kidding me. This is the GameCube, for fuck's sake. We shouldn't be having clipping problems. I really don't know what else to say, so we'll be right back after a word from my friend Z Murcielago.
Introducing the Bad Dub Hot Tub. That's right, the Bad Dub Hot Tub. You must be saying, Z, what is the Bad Dub Hot Tub? Well, my dear viewer, the Bad Dub Hot Tub turns even the best character's voice work and turns it into the worst dubbing imaginable. Just look at some of our many customers.
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light!
What am I fighting for? to protect the life cycle.
And it can be yours for just a simple price of $665.99. That's right, $665.99. So hurry, we still have them, so order now!
Thank you, Z, and now back to the show. The thing about getting curb stomped by a powerful foe early on is that it gives you motivation to get stronger throughout the game so that you can earn your redemption. I know that forced failure is a huge turnoff more often than not, but there are situations where it's used effectively in terms of the story. That's exactly what happened in the original Paper Mario. Powered up by the Star Rod, Bowser becomes an unstoppable force of hell and utterly decimates our poor plucky plumber. Then he proceeds to commit villainous blunder number 64, failing to make sure your target is actually dead. This gives Mario the opportunity to rescue the Star Spirits, setting the stage for one incredible battle. Not only does Bowser have his standard Fire Breath, Ground Pound, and Claws, he's got that OP Star Rod of his, which can damage both you and your partner, heal a crap ton of health, or make him invincible, at which point you have the Star Beam to take out that shield. Of course, this is all taken to 11 when Bowser receives some serious rank-up magic. At first, the fight starts out as before, until Bowser puts up his shield again, and it turns out that Bowser is so powerful that the Star Beam no longer affects him. It's at this point when things seem hopeless, until Twink and Princess Peach get in on the action to power up the Star Beam and give Bowser's number 2 a well-deserved smack, once again proving that the princess is useful. From there, it's an all-out slugfest, just you, your partner, and the big guy himself going blow for blow with some incredibly intense music playing in the background. It's challenging, fierce, and downright cathartic to take down Bowser and his 99 HP and finally give him the beatdown he deserves. A kick-ass conclusion to one of the best, and only, RPGs on the N64. But man, that Star Rod. Nintendo, please nerf. I didn't think Super Mario Galaxy 2 was a bad game, but it was a subpar sequel, especially since it was originally intended to be DLC for its amazing predecessor, which, by the way, was so well executed that the only thing that Nintendo could think of to make it better was add a couple new power-ups and add Yoshi. The game did have its moments, however. One of these moments was the final level, Bowser's Galaxy Generator. It had awesome music, even matching up with the first game's finale, tested nearly all of your skills, and was fun to play through. And then it all fell flat when you reached Bowser himself. It starts out like the other two fights, having you dodge fireballs, punches, and shockwaves while you kick meteors back in the bloated Bowser's nose. But of course it couldn't be that easy, right? Nope, it's actually easier. All that the final phase consists of is you and Bowser hurtling through space and you kicking meteors at him as he slowly approaches you. The problem here is that Bowser gives you plenty of time to hit him, and only attacks if he can get close enough, which almost never happens if you're even remotely good. Even worse, if you're on a meteor and he manages to damage you, a coin will pop out of said meteor and heal the damage you just received. This sad excuse for a fight is an utter waste of both the great atmosphere and downright epic final boss theme, mainly because the fight will most likely be over before it loops unless you drag out the fight on purpose. And to top it all off, just look at what Bowser says when you beat him.
Not gonna quote the meme. Not gonna quote the meme. Not gonna quote the kick it. Ow! Man, that was close. And you know what the real mind blow is? This isn't the worst battle on my list. Shit.
When Super Mario World 2 was announced, many people were shocked to see Mario relegated to the role of a tag-along toddler and Yoshi getting the starring role instead. But with Baby Mario being Yoshi's charge, as well as extra motivation to not get hit, it was no surprise that instead of the regular Bowser battle, we got Baby Bowser, who just wants to ride on Yoshi. All you do here is ground pound so that the shockwaves hit him. Yeah, it's just as easy as you'd think. That is until... Oh shit. Oh, you have got to be kidding me! Okay, how many of you back in the day saw this coming? The rest of the game was mostly bright and colorful, and to be greeted by a baby Godzilla was a real shock to the system. The humongous baby Bowser, hopped up on Kamek's magic, goes on the ultimate temper tantrum, raining down boulders that destroy the ground you stand on, assaulting you with fireballs from afar, and slowly but steadily approaching you as you fire eggs at him. This presents another wrinkle into the system. You have to fire eggs into the screen instead of across it, all the while scrambling to avoid Bowser's attacks and trying to find footing on the ever-shrinking platforms. What's more, as the fight drags on, Bowser gets closer and closer, and every time you knock him back, he approaches faster and faster to the point where he's rushing you and nearly taking up the entire screen. This is a fight that's riddled with tension, not only from Baby Bowser's menacing approach, but from the music, which is some of the most menacing and intense in the entire series. My one problem, a very personal one mind you, was getting used to the new perspective. It was kind of jarring and it took quite some getting used to, especially the aiming. Still, this is one fight I'm not going to forget anytime soon. However, there is one Bowser battle I like even more. Which one is it? Well, I'll tell you. But not before I rip into the worst Bowser battle ever. One thing I can say about the previous 4 bad Bowser battles was that they at least tried to be somewhat different from other battles in the series, even though they failed. But my most hated clash with the Koopa King is the pinnacle of laziness. And that fight comes from none other than New Super Mario Bros. 2! Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the game as a whole. Not exactly the most challenging of the series, but at least it was satisfying to rack up massive wealth in the course of a single level. That being said, this has got to be the absolute worst Bowser battle I've ever experienced. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. It's a lazy rehash of the fight with Bowser from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. In fact, the first part is the exact same as it was before. All you do is run under him when he jumps, then hit the switch. Then Bowser grows giant-sized and cue the uninspired chase sequence. All it consists of is you jumping up a series of platforms while trying to stay ahead of the rising lava and dodging fireballs until you reach the final switch. Meanwhile, Bowser is swiping at you with his claws and occasionally breathing fire on you. Also, did I mention that his attacks are molasses slow? Yeah, he's a turtle, but come on! I know he's faster than this, even at that size! I mean, he can dance for crying out loud! Like I said, this is an utterly lazy rehash of a previous fight. Right down to using the same fucking music! This is like fighting True Orochi in Okami, only worse because it's in a sequel, and it's even lazier because at least in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, the chase played out like an actual level and a damn good and exciting one at that! This one felt like they weren't even trying! Even people who haven't played this game recognize how bad it is. It is that bad! And to add insult to injury, you play this fight again in the Star World, only this time it's Dry Bowser. But other than that, almost nothing changes! I expect more from Nintendo. I expect more from a final battle. I expect more from Bowser! So, as you can imagine, I wasn't terribly excited for the finale of New Super Mario Bros. U. True, I enjoyed the game thoroughly, and many of the boss battles were enjoyable, but I wasn't exactly looking forward to fighting Bowser. The first phase of the fight even played just like the last one. Dodge Bowser's fire, run under him when he jumps, and hit the switch. Easy, pathetic, predictable, lazy, whatever. Kamek and Bowser Jr. then show up and sprinkle their magic dust, and this is where I expected the uninspired chase sequence. Huh. This doesn't look like the kind of place for an uninspired chase sequence. Wait. You don't think... Okay, Nintendo, this is more like it! Bowser looks as menacing as ever in HD, and this fight plays out like a fight worth talking about. So that's just what I'm gonna do. Bowser's fireballs are as beefed up as he is, and as you're dodging them, Bowser Jr. is hovering above you in his mini clown car, waiting for his chance to pound you. And this is where my intense satisfaction comes from, because you get to knock the little brat out of his toy, commandeer it for yourself, and use it to slam straight into Bowser's head. Let me tell you, it is so satisfying just to pound Bowser in the face like that. In the face! Between hits, Bowser decides to carry over one of his moves from Smash Bros. And does his whirling fortress across the stage, followed by creating a rain of fireballs for you to frantically dodge. Bowser Jr. decides to retaliate with bob-ombs after the first hit, and Bowser will try to assault you with fireballs as you approach him in the mini-craft, even with spread shots of fire. This is an excellent battle which keeps you on your toes in a way that doesn't alter the mechanics in a jarring manner. It also provides a tense atmosphere, and it's just downright fun. Also, the music, while not as overly epic as some other boss themes in the series, is pretty damn good to boot. The only major problem I can think of is that Bowser goes down in just 3 hits. Any other problems I can think of are just nitpicks. Everything else about this fight blew my expectations clear away, and that's why I love this fight so much. Consider yourselves on notice, Nintendo. From now on, I expect battles with Bowser to be awesome, like this one. I'm the Quarter Guy saying long live the Koopa King!